Hello, and welcome to the Vision Led Leadership Podcast with your host, Arin Fugate. I'm so happy that you're back, and we have one of my treasured entrepreneurial interviews. If you've been listening to the pod for a while, you know that I like to interview business owners who have been successful at their craft so that we can extract some of their wisdom, some of their guidance, and sometimes the mistakes they've made so that we can avoid those mistakes. If you're new here, hello. As you're listening to this show, please think of someone who maybe could benefit from this content. Take a screenshot, share it with them, tag me on social media and my guest on social media. It's all in the show notes. You can check it out. So today, we are talking to Emmy Cornwell. She is a personal brand marketing specialist for businesses, as well as a social selling expert. And she's also a podcaster like me. She loves to teach and train on building a personal brand. She gives social media tips and tricks. And we are so excited to have you today, Emmy. Hello, and welcome to the pod.
Hey, what's going on? Oh my gosh, I'm very excited to be here. It's an honor. You and I'm sure we'll maybe share the story of how we connected because I think it's really relevant to what we're going to be talking about on the episode today. But it is just so cool to be here podcasting with you. This is one of my favorite ways to connect with people. And so I'm excited to share some of that wisdom you talked about, hopefully help some of the listeners that are listening to the episode today and just have fun, right? This is supposed to be fun. And so I'm just thankful that you asked me. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, we are going to have fun. And hopefully, my hope, the answer that I want to get today is how the heck do I make money on Instagram? So I think you're the girl for the job.
It's easier than you would think.
Yes, that's exciting. Okay, so the famous icebreaker questions. Let's get to know you a little bit. You have to go on stage and you are not really in the zone. What is your best hype song?
Oh man, music is magical. Music has so much power to bring you back to a different time, a different place, a different season. It can just pop you right back into it. I can even imagine listening to a song and then feeling also the feelings of hearing that song or the smells. Music is really, really great. It's hard to pick just one. I can basically groove out to anything, even in bar class, right? I just actually got back from working out. I sometimes like to take a dance break, like I just do it. The instructor knows now that it's just like if Emmy's moving and grooving, that don't be alarmed. So shoot.
Well, you like Tupac, right? I mean, this is a part of your.
I do, but Tupac does not hype anyone up.
Lift you up.
I will tell you. Okay, let's see. If we were playing dodgeball, I probably would choose Rocky.
Uh-huh.
But if we're thinking about this stage, it definitely has to be something that's like pop. It could be like a hip hop type of vibe to it. Lizzo has been pretty good the last couple of years in regards to this type of music to get you hyped up. But it's not just about me. It's going to be something that's also going to move the crowd, because at the end of the day, when I'm doing speaking engagements, my goal is not to get up there and stroke my ego. The goal is really to help the people in the audience take one step closer to their goal. And for me, it's a whole experience. From the minute you enter into a room that I'm doing a teaching or training on, there probably is music. There are, swag items that you're going to get. There are it's a full encompassing experience so that you can make sure that you are getting the most that you need. And like I said, taking one step closer to your goal. So something fun, something exciting, something definitely that does have a good beat. I can't put a name on it right now. I mean,
it's all good. But you know that feeling. I mean, both you and I come from the network marketing sphere, and a good convention song, like when they really nail that like high energy song.
So yes, but when Alicia Keys came out, right, with Girl on Fire, I remember that being like one that was like very much played in all the conventions. My previous company, I've only been with 2 network marketing companies, and this is the second one that I partnered with. But I remember our first company even had like their own theme song that they made.
Oh, I didn't
Um,
know that. That's cool.
yeah, one of the corporate guys' son was like a musician, and so their band ended up like they were there at every convention. In the opening music, they would like play this song. It was just looking back at that experience, those 6 years with that company, I learned a lot, but I also drank a lot of Kool-Aid.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Kool-Aid. There's a lot of Kool-Aid. Okay, so second question is favorite snack. And I know this changes. So Christmas snack, current snack, what's your Netflix go-to munchie?
Well, it does change too because I'm pregnant. So I'm actually in the third trimester of my pregnancy, and I haven't had any like crazy cravings, but I would say that I've increased the amount of pancakes that I eat. So I definitely eat pancakes at least once a week. But I'm not like fiending for it. I'm not like, oh, or I'm not like making my husband like go run and get me ice cream. I haven't even actually wanted really ice cream. Like dairy just has not sounded good to me and my digestive system while being pregnant. I love Doritos. I'm like a Dorito fan.
I
Um,
haven't had a Dorito in so long. You're gonna make me want. Are you Cool Ranch or original?
I mean, I love spicy, so I'll go with like the nacho cheese, like the super nacho, or what is it called? The nacho cheese. Not the regular Dorito. I mean, I'll stick with the regular Doritos, and I will have a Cool Ranch every once in a while. But it's the, gosh, what is it? I feel like I'm having pregnancy brain right now. It's not the regular one, but like the next one up.
Is there like a super spicy one?
It's not even spicy, but it's got like more bad
I'm
stuff.
not I'm not up on my
Probably more
Dorito
additives,
flavors.
like R5 or whatever that thing is that you're not supposed to have.
Probably.
Let's go with Doritos. That's a good one. I like Doritos.
Doritos are good. Okay, so you get to have coffee or tea with anyone alive or dead. Who would it be?
Oh man. So I think I would choose my grandpa. So I'm part Hawaiian. So my real name is Emilia Kaiulani Ethero Cornwell. And my grandfather was one of the original outrigger beach boys in Hawaii. He surfed with Duke. He was a surf instructor. He was a outrigger canoe instructor. He really like ran the beach and was a beach boy. And so he passed away from prostate cancer when I was 5. He lived with us. So I have very, very few short memories of him. But what I do have memories of it is like being, my parents had decided to take care of him. And so he had a hospital bed in our house. And so I would get up in his bed and he would play the ukulele and sing me a song. And so I know it's recorded somewhere where he's singing about my name, but just to hear some of the cultural and the heritage behind the Hawaiian people. So technically I have native blood, even though if you're viewing this or if you go connect with me on Instagram at the Hey Hey Emmy, I am very much my mother's daughter. I'm very Caucasian. I'm Irish, like Norwegian, like very much white. I do not look Hawaiian. My husband gives me grief all the time, as well as my friends growing up. But I would just love to hear, because it really was, if you go into the Hawaiian culture and then how the history went down of Hawaii was its own nation, very much like the Native Americans, how they were their own nation in a way. And so it would just be really cool to hear all of his experience. I know like my dad and him lived on their land for a year, like in a tent with like water just coming out of a faucet. And the Hawaiian culture is very secretive, really. Like they're very much hush hush. Like if something happens, you don't go air your dirty laundry, right? You're not out there speaking about it. And so, although my dad was a history major and has shared a lot, and we've traveled to Hawaii quite often and our family property, just to hear, I think, from my grandpa and have that connection with him, like I know that's something I look forward to when I go to heaven, that hopefully we'll be able to have those coffee chats.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I have a really deep connection with Hawaii, and there's a lot of people on my doTERRA team that are from Hawaii. So I'm sure anyone listening is just sending you that aloha right now,
Aloha
bringing grandpa in.
Yeah, love it.
All right, my dear, are you ready? Because there's stuff I want to know. I want to know. So first of all, tell us, what's your business? How did you start this business? What's the backstory here?
Oh, okay. Well, fun fact, because yes, I am in the network marketing industry. I have a direct sales business. I utilize it in a way that is very much an affiliate marketing arm of my brand. So anything that I do stems from who I'm truly created to be. My brand is based off of me, my authentic self. And then I have multiple businesses, almost like an octopus, right? Like a head of an octopus. You have different tentacles. So I have multiple businesses, and my direct sales business is not my full-time job. It is something that is considered almost right in the industry. The term that you hear a lot is side hustle or side gig. My full-time job is I am an online business coach, and specifically helping business owners, whether you're a traditional business owner, like a brick and mortar, or maybe you're a service provider, like a realtor, a wedding planner, maybe you're an author, right? Or a blogger, influencer, or maybe you are in the network marketing industry. I help you build a personal brand so that you can stand out, you can increase your visibility. Okay, we all want more eyeballs on our stuff, and increase your bank account. Because at the end of the day, we're not running a charity, you're a business owner. And so that is my full-time job, but I didn't always do that. And it's funny enough, I still have some of my cups, like shaker bottles from my first company. So I was with Advocare previously. I started in the network marketing industry in 2013 because I needed to lose weight. And I keep some of this stuff as reminders. Actually, when it rains, because I live in the Northwest, like Arin does, I live in Washington State. When it rains, it's actually a really beautiful reminder. My sticker that I had on my car, which I don't even know why people thought that was a great marketing technique. It never worked. I didn't even get a date out of it. Like, I wasn't married yet. I didn't even get like any car flirting because my number was on it. But when it rains, it's a really beautiful reminder of where I came from, because I do think it's important to know your journey and be able to also share that story with people. And that's part of building a personal brand, is essentially creating the message so that you can share your story. So I started in network marketing, but through my own journey, getting on social media, I was like, I'm actually good at this, because I'm older than I look. Thank you very much for liquid collagen. I'm 30. I'll be 39 when I deliver. Actually, no. Okay. When this episode comes out, I have my birthday's in a couple days. I'll be 39. Holy moly. Wow. Okay. So I was on social media. I had Facebook when you had to have like a college email, right? But I was pairing my formal education with my bachelor's in communication studies and biz econ. Plus I also had a master's in sport management. I was pairing those things with what I enjoyed. And I was like, there's more than this network marketing industry has provided me so far. I need to dive into social media. I was good at it. So I ultimately, after a couple of years of trying to do health coaching solely, I just got so burned out. I was like, oh Lord, no one actually wants to lose weight. Weird. That's weird. It's a mindset thing, right? We know that a lot of times when we're stuck and we have limiting beliefs, it's in our mind, not necessarily the strategies and tools. But I was like, listen, I can't do this. And that's when I pivoted into business coaching, specifically with Instagram and personal branding. So that's kind of how we got here today. I'm so thankful for the network marketing industry. It's changed so much, as you know, and because you're an OG, you've been in it for longer than I have, that it's changing even now. And social media changes every day and is changing now. So you got to be able to adapt. Whatever it is that you're doing, you got to be able to adapt.
Yeah, I mean, social media's, it works and it's where people are. And I know it can be daunting. And even me, this is how long I've been on social media. Do you remember tribe.net?
Okay, you said that to me the other day, and I was like, no, I don't. I don't remember that. But I remember Periscope was kind of like the first intro into like video and kind of vlogging. I never got on that.
I was on the Periscope. Do you
Okay.
remember Friendster?
Is that no?
This is like way back. This is like pre-Facebook.
I remember Plenty of Fish.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
That's not a social media. That's a dating app.
But social media, it's important no matter what your business is and no matter how old you are, because well, regardless of it being important, like I see it as highly valuable. How else can you reach hundreds, if not thousands of people with one post?
Right? I mean, the there's a billion people on Instagram alone. And that's just one of the main social media. That's not even counting Facebook. That's not even counting TikTok. That's not even counting all the other like onesie twosies. You have to decide that you're going to utilize this as a tool for your business in a positive way. Because guess what? Yeah, there is a lot of crappy stuff on the internet. And if you're leaning more towards the negative and that's what you're looking for, that's what you're going to find. But this is an opportunity. What I love about in the Chinese culture, they don't have the word problem. Like they don't have the character problem. What it stands for is opportunity. So you can see this tool as a free resource you do not have to pay for. Now you need to build real estate and do other types of marketing and promoting and networking outside of just social media because you don't own it. But this is an opportunity to use this, like you said, to reach the masses. You don't have to, if you're in the network marketing industry, and just for an example, I don't know about you, but I hated doing mixers and in-home parties. I was actually at bar talking to a gal she's in a company called Symbology, which is a newer company. And she's like, man, they still like, this is what they're teaching. They're still teaching these Facebook parties. I'm like, oh Lord, like get off that dinosaur now. Right? Like at least look for other, like I did when I was in Advocare, I recognized that there was something changing in the industry and I needed to get on board with social media. Even though my upline thought I was crazy, the company actually got pissed at some of the top leaders who rose very highly through the ranks through Instagram. There was so you have to, I was like, that's good. She realizes, she's aware, she wants to build a personal brand to help her create content now to utilize attraction and curiosity marketing. But I don't want to do mixers. I don't want to do home parties. I even drove by a neighborhood on the way home where I was like, oh, I remember I went to a gal's house to do like a consult with her. You know how much I got paid for that? Nothing. I mean, commission on the product, which was like the way that comp plan was like zero, right? Like I was working for charity. And so Instagram really just opens up this opportunity. Does it open up Pandora's box too? Potentially. You are in control of your life and your business, and you get to make the decisions here. So utilize it as a tool, not a stress relief, not a scroll hole anymore. It's really just something that's going to benefit you, your business, and your bank account.
I can't remember. I think it was Rachel Hollis, which I know that there's lots of controversy around her, but she said something once that really hit me. And she's like, don't be a content consumer, be a content creator. And that was kind of like, oh, and you have to set up some systems to stop yourself from consuming, because social media is designed for us to want to consume it. But if you're a content creator, what are your best tips for that? Like, how do you help someone who goes, oh, I get onto social media and I just end up in a scroll hole or waste all this time? Or what are some tips there?
Well, I definitely think you hit it on the nail in regards to systems and boundaries. All right. Boundaries is a life lesson that I actually learned in recovery. So I got in trouble with, I have a very fun story that has just like, obviously won't be able to get into it now, but I've gone to recovery more than once because I decided to make some really poor decisions with alcohol and whatnot. But one of the best things I learned in recovery was boundaries. And I know that if I did not go to recovery and sit in those rooms and learn about who am I hanging out with, who am I surrounding myself with, what environments am I putting myself in, all things that I knew. Listen, I grew up middle class, home, both my parents, great parents, still married today, over 50 years, educators. I'm well educated. That doesn't that doesn't deter someone from making poor decisions in their life. And if I wouldn't have gone through those rooms, I wouldn't have soaked in to where now I can tap into that in business, right? Like sucked that I had to do that, but so cool. So one of the things that you do have to do, and maybe you've heard it, like I heard it so many times. I loved personal development. I was an athlete. I got the coaching and the mentorship and all those things, but it didn't soak in until I was in those rooms, is really, what are you feeding yourself? And I'm not just talking about food, right? Like what is the first thing that you do in the morning? Is it go on social media? Well, I would actually recommend it not be. Okay. Because there are so many studies and you can Google it. I'm not an expert in this, like, use Google University. But there are so many studies that show that that is not the best way to set yourself up for success for your day in a positive way. And this world is not awesome right now. And I hate to say it, it's probably not going to get any better. So setting boundaries is something you have to constantly do. One of the things outside of that is like, what are you listening to, right? Who are you surrounding yourself with? If you have Debbie Downer friends, well, guess what? If you have a Debbie Downer husband, I'm sorry. That sucks. I can't relate to that. I can relate to ex-boyfriends who had issues with what I did and issues with my ambition. And I'm so thankful for my husband now, but all of these things really play into our psyche. And just like losing weight, running a business is a mindset. I can give you the strategies, I can give you the tools, I can give you the systems, like, make sure that you're only really following your true ideal client, right? Because scrolling, although you may be trying to increase your friends, so you're increasing your network, are they actually people who are going to receive the message of the content that you're creating? And if they're not, then you're probably just doing it for your ego. And I'm sorry, but your ego, you can't take that to the bank. You can take connections to the bank, and connections start through conversation, and they do start through content, which really at the end of the day, I think is people's biggest issue. So I don't know if you want to continue down that we actually just had a team call where we were teaching content to people, because they're like, well, I'm doing what my company tells me, but ultimately they're still being spammy because they're not stepping into their true self. They're not using their voice of what their God-given talents or knowledge or experience that they have to share that's outside of the products that they promote.
Yes, let's talk about content, because this is what I see happen is I'll start mentoring a new business partner in my network marketing business. They will find the company's stock images and stock posts. They'll start a brand new Instagram profile with 0 followers, and they'll start posting all this generic content. And then all their followers will be other people building the business. And then it copies, it duplicates from there. So do you advise that? Is that a good idea?
No, it's not. It's absolutely so old school. But at the end of the day, like, I can't fault anyone for the actions that they take, because they're just doing the best that they can with the information that they've been given. And so it's not like I'm laughing in a way of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happens. I'm laughing because that happens quite a bit. And it's not going to get you to the end result, like I said, of standing out. There's over 1 billion people on Instagram. There are thousands of people doing what you do. What makes you different? Because guess what? People are buying you before they buy the product. They're buying you and your why and your story, because you developed a relationship with them. That's the sweat equity is the relationship building. We are in network marketing. You cannot just be a marketer. You cannot just be a promoter. You cannot just be an advertiser. Annie, you actually have to get to know people that are behind those followers count, right? Like that is the key. And so it's just crazy to me that we don't stop and kind of just think and use our brain. We're just almost robotic in following the systems. But that is not going to have you have a long lasting, sustainable, and what I want to build, legacy type of businesses and legacy type of brand. And I think that's where, again, we're focusing more out of you being for me, it was Advo Emmy. That was my website. You could still go to that. Technically, my AdvoCare shop is still open for business. I still get like maybe like $20 a month from it, which is cool. But like, what a crazy comp plan. Anyways, don't do AdvoCare. Well, make sure you know how you're making money in whatever business you decide to do, whether it's in the network marketing industry or, in the online space in any type of e-commerce business. But for content, here's what you can think about. How am I educating people on something that I am good at? Because 80% of your content should be education. When you hear people talk about like add value, that's what they mean, is like teaching. So I love this metaphor. Arin, I think I've actually shared this metaphor with you before. Remind me if I have. You as the business owner are at some type of peak, some type of top of the mountain, where your person that you're serving, the person that you're trying to help solve a problem for, right? Or ideal client that I like to use, is at the bottom of the mountain. Okay. And they're looking at you as like a hope, a light, a beacon. You have something in your life that they want, whether you believe it or not, which is another podcast for another day. You have some type of lifestyle. Maybe you are home with your kids and that's something they desperately want. Maybe you don't have any debt, right? I'm using like the two big network marketing ones that people love to talk about, time freedom and debt freedom. But maybe you can travel. So whatever it is, right? Like that, it speaks to that specific group of people. You have it to some aspect. You may not have exactly where you want, right? We're all still on the journey from glory to glory. So you can like yell down at them with inspiring content, which is what most people start with, because it's the easy part. It's easy, but you know what? Inspiration doesn't pay the bills and motivation is cheap. So I can be like, yeah, girl, you go, you can totally rock social media. You could do Instagram. You just like go out there and post stuff and show up and go on video. She ain't moving up the mountain. Okay. But what you want to metaphorically do is reach down, partner with her, which is what Arin does such a good job with when people, are partnering with her in business. You lock arms with them and you literally are going to give her the steps to get up the mountain, whatever her mountain is. So like, we're going to sidestep. Okay. Cause here's a mudslide coming down. Let's sidestep to the right. Okay. Now we're going to follow each other one by one, follow the leader up this rope, make sure you put your carabiner in. Now we're going to stop here at base camp and get hydrated. Those are literally the educational steps that you're giving. So for instance, in my niche, if you will, 3 ways to make money on Instagram. And I'm going to give you the 3 ways. And I'm actually going to do that right now. This is bonus. Okay. No matter what you're in. And this is why people love the network marketing industry, because you need some type of product or service. You want to make money online. Doesn't matter if it's Instagram, online. You need to have some type of product or service. Okay. Why people love network marketing is because they don't have to make up the product. They don't have to manufacture it. They don't have to invent it. They don't have to do any of that stuff. Okay. The second thing that you need to make money online is your phone, right? Like this is how simple it is though. And the third thing is you need a way to people to pay you. Okay. I don't have a website for my coaching business. I use PayPal and Stripe. I use my iPhone 13 and I provide a service where I help people generate more leads and cash because they've built a personal brand and they stand out and they have more visibility. So you got to go from inspiration, as I'm wrapping up this metaphor, helping them get into inspired action. Don't be one of those fantasy like people online, like you can do this, but then not actually tell people how to do it. Like how frustrating is that? Guess what? Even if you tell people to do it, I just told you 3 ways to make money online right now. You're probably not going to go do it. Most people don't do it because of the accountability piece, which again is another, arm of this whole thing. But as far as content, you need to stay in the educational zone a majority of your time. Add in the inspiration. I like to add in entertainment. I even put education and entertainment together, call it edutainment. Because if you're boring, you're broke. Okay, that's one of the things that you do when you build your personal brand is you figure out what makes me me, and then you highlight that. Maybe I always like to joke. Maybe you make sweaters, like you knit sweaters for cats named Stan. Okay, well, I want to know about that. I'm more connected to you now, even though I may not do the same thing, but you're memorable. If you are not memorable, you're not standing out, and you're not making, potentially, you could be making some money, but you're not making the money that I know that you want to make.
Also, here's a tip from someone I've been in network marketing for over 14 years. And there was a time when I was so fucking burnt out and hated what I was doing. And the reason that I hated it was I was not showing up as my authentic self. So every post I made, every call I got on, every stage I went on, I had to put a mask on, and nobody actually knew me. And that's one of the things that I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger network marketing self. But now I tell people who want to do this business, but also any business, if you're a realtor, if you're a coach, a massage therapist, is like, bring your real personality to the party, because then you won't feel like you have to mask. And the people who are attracted to you, they're going to be like, I'm here because Emmy wears a Carhartt beanie. And she's so rad. Or if you go to my Instagram, I just posted myself like dancing to a rave song. I'm an old raver, right? And that's what I am. I'm an old raver, an old party girl. And if you put a beat on, I am going to dance. And there used to be a time when I'd be like, that's not professional. But that was exhausting, because this girl is going to shake her booty if there's any music happening. And if you want to do business with me, you got to be okay with my shaking booty.
And that's so good. Okay. Because professionalism too, it's subjective. When we think of professionalism, though, we think of our friend Tiffany. She likes to call it news because she was a newscaster in her previous life. Newscaster Tiffany. But I think of like a presentation where I'm like formal, I'm in a suit, like it's stuffy. No, you can be professional. I was just working with a client in a 60-minute strategy session yesterday where she is in the grief category. And she's like, I like to ask clients when I work with them in 60-minute strategy session, like, okay, what if you could self-identify, what is your number one struggle with Instagram right now? And one of the things that she shared and ultimately wanted to walk away with in our 60 minutes together was, how do I share in my story specifically in a more professional way? And I was like, well, here's a couple of different ways. One, building your personal brand. So aesthetically, visually, using your brand colors, doing things like that is going to add a cohesiveness, a consistency, which I was then equating to a type of professionalism. Do I want my grief coach to be getting drunk and wasted every night and sharing that on Instagram? No, come on, guys, use your like common sense. But I told her about how I hired my grief coach. It wasn't because she's had 25, 30 plus years of experience in industry, or it wasn't because she had certification. It was because, and this is the kicker, it was because I could relate to her story that she shared. I knew that she understood me. She got me. She knew what I was going through, and she was going to be able to reach down that mountain and help me step by step up my mountain out of grief. To me, that's professional. You don't need to be all buttoned up, like this is me, right? Like I know Arin said this, we were going to be on camera. So here's what I did, guys. I moved out of like a crappy sweatshirt into like a more presentable sweatshirt, but I didn't take my beanie off. I didn't put makeup on, right? Do I love those things when the time comes? Yeah. But at the end of the day, people can spot a fake so quick, and it is so repelling, which you do want to on social media either attract your people or repel them. But you don't want to repel the people that you're meant to serve because you are deciding to live not in your authentic self. And now I know that does take a lot of work. I've done a lot of work in that. Erin's done a lot of work in that. It doesn't happen overnight. But the more and more you can be yourself, that's where the magic happens. And that's what is attractive. People want to be around other people who are free just to be themselves, who don't care what other people think, not necessarily like with a chip on your shoulder. Cause that's what I used to be like, oh, I don't give, whatever about those people. Now it's a different type of not caring. Because at the end of the day, if you're not pouring into my passion, my purpose or my profits, right? The only way I'm going to get upset is if you're affecting my entrance into heaven or my bank account. That's the only way I'm going to care about how I'm deciding to walk in my true identity. And I would hope that you guys would take maybe just a little bit of that today, whatever that looks like for you, and start to get out of your familiar zone. I don't like to call it a comfort zone. I call it a familiar zone, because I believe that it ties back to my faith that God is like, he's the major comforter. He's like the best one. So like if he's always with me and I'm always present with him, I'm always in my comfort zone. But there's a familiar zone that you need to step out of, whether that's sharing something different on your social media besides just a graphic, because guess what? Graphics don't work. They don't. You know what you can do? Here's a hack, right? This is a money hit. I like to call it a money hit. Is you can say you're sharing, Arin does oils. Okay, say what's the popular one? What frankincense?
Sure.
I don't know.
Frankincense.
Okay. We're gonna keep it biblical, okay? Frankincense.
It's the holy popular one. Okay.
Arin always laughs at me because I'm like totally an oil rookie, newbie. I don't even know if I would consider myself that. I'm very naive in regards to oils. But say you have a graphic that showcases that bottle, and then it gives like the benefits of what you get if you use that oil. Okay. Then maybe like the second graphic is actually like, you could pair it with other oils, or ways you could diffuse it, or ways you could digest it, or ways you could add it to whatever. Well, instead of using those graphics, why don't you take a video of you actually utilizing the product, and then you get to add wording to your stories, is what I'm speaking about specifically, because that's where you sell, right? And at the end of this, I'm gonna make sure that you have a free resource for you to make sure that your stories are standing out visually. You're creating them in a way that people are actually engaging and creating that two-way conversation. But take the ingredients that were listed on that graphic and then put it on the story slide. You're still delivering the same messaging, but you're doing it in a way that's more organic. People are going to receive it. If they're not receiving the message, they're not buying from you. It's like, this is why bloggers, when social selling the social selling is a newer term, but bloggers are the ones that really brought this to life within this decade. You know what they were doing? They were simply just sharing. Now, I do hate in the network marketing industry, like, it's not sales. It is sales. Okay. You can share and sell at the same time. That's how actually you do sell, is by sharing, but it is sales. Don't get away from that word. Okay. Sales are not bad. It's not like the F word. Okay. Or I mean, whatever, for me, so you get what I'm saying, concept. Okay. So they did it in an organic way where you weren't feeling sold to. You can elicit the same thing that they did. Just take the extra step, stop being lazy and take the information and then just put it on like a video, or put it on a slide of a selfie or a boomerang of you. People are going to respond better to that. And they're going to be able to put themselves in your shoes and be like, oh, this is how I use it. Perfect. I can do that at home. It's going to help you so much better. So hopefully you love that money hack.
That's great. It's like putting your own personality on it. Like people put stickers on water bottles because then it makes it their own. And you can put stickers on stories, and you can put all kinds of funny thing on there. You do great stuff. Go follow Emmy. Hey, Emmy on Instagram, because you'll get to see her examples. She's a great one.
It's the Hey Emmy, because I got
Emmy.
My other account got hacked, so we're starting over, but that's okay. It's great. Go hang out. It's always a party. Stories are definitely where you'll find me.
So this is my question on this subject then. I'm on Instagram. My content is authentic and fun. People are engaging. I'm getting likes, I'm getting follows, I'm getting comments. How the heck do I get people to actually give me their money?
Yes, you beg them. No, that is not the answer. Oh, you give them some sob story and you're like, give me your money. No. That's part of when you are doing curiosity and attraction marketing effectively, people are coming to you, that does make the sales process less threatening or disarming to the person who ultimately you're just like the connector to provide them the tools and resources for them to make a purchasing decision. You're their tour guide. You're not manipulating them. You're not persuading them. You're not convincing them. You're simply giving them the tools and resources that they, as an adult, can use to then make a purchase decision. Now, the quality of these sales conversations that will convert into cash do rise and fall on how well you ask questions. Okay. In all of your sales conversations, I want you to slow down to speed up. I don't want you to fire hose, a lead or a prospect, whether that's for the business or products, or again, outside of the network marketing industry. I have these types of conversations as well. I was just having one with a gal who's trying to decide if working with me one-on-one privately in my winter session, which I just opened spots up for, and I'm only taking 3 people. If that versus maybe entering into a course that I have, she's trying to decide, well, I'm not going to just then sit there and talk to her about all the benefits and all the like features of both programs. I'm going to say, well, tell me more about can you share with me specifically what is your goal so that I can help connect you with the best option that's going to fit for you in that goal. And guess what? Then you let them talk. That was a question. Okay, now I like to ask kind of, sometimes they're longer, but make sure you just have that question mark at the end. And you're not giving them your link right away, right? When someone asks you about liquid collagen, they respond on a poll. Here's how this goes. Okay. I'll just give it to you straight. Okay. I'm in my stories. I share my devotional every morning to start the algorithm off right, and to start, the Emmy show, because your stories are like your Netflix reality show. Now, it's not about you. It's about helping your ideal client, remember that mountain metaphor, take one step closer to their goal. But you are the star of the show because it's your reality show. So everyone knows, like, when subconsciously they see that devotional, it's a new day. Then usually I share some type of my morning routine, which involves me working out, and then some type of supplement or health or what I'm eating aspect. Okay. So I'm taking my pudding, my fat blasting pudding. Sometimes I'll do a hard sell. So sometimes I'll follow that with a poll. So in this instance, I'm going to share that example, but sometimes I don't always ask for a sale in the stories or for use a poll feature. Sometimes I'm just, again, showing the lifestyle of me using the products, and people will naturally like, what is that? What is that stuff you're always dancing around the kitchen taking with that like crazy spoon? Hello, conversations equals cash. They came to me. I didn't use a poll. But in this case, maybe after that, I share like a current customer that's had some great results. So that's called social proof. Maybe it's a verbal, maybe it's a text message, maybe it is a before and after photo. And then on the next slide, maybe I take a boomerang that says, like, I have 3 $10 off coupon codes. Answer the poll. Do you like send me more info or yes, please? Okay. So someone hits yes, please, or send me more info. They're both great options. By the way, if someone like hits my polls, you should engage with them. That's part of them entering into the conversation, no matter if it's about, what, if they had a good weekend or not, right? Because you're not going to always just use polls in your stories for sales. Then people will never answer your polls. Okay. So newsflash, make sure that you're engaging in conversation like you would with your best friend. That's what we're doing here. We're replicating real life. So do you sell to your friend 24/7? No. Better believe though, that you are going to share with her when you find a product that you love and like, but you also talk about how was their weekend? What are they doing for Christmas? You share the good, the bad. Okay. So in this instance, someone has engaged in conversation. I'm going to, because it's my responsibility as a responsible business owner to continue the conversation. I will then message them directly and say, hey, short and sweet, keep it simple. Like, take all the fluff out. Maybe this is a person you haven't seen since high school. You don't have to catch up now. Okay. You can even say like, hey, oh my gosh, so good to see your name. We should definitely set a time to catch up. But I saw that you voted on my poll. Are you wanting to get your hands on the liquid collagen. So I said hello. It was nice. I greeted them. Okay. I related to them. I indicated that we had been some time since we've connected and I would love to do that, but now was not the time, because the thing that they wanted and asked for was not to catch up. They know where you're at. Okay. They wanted to have what you're selling. And so it's short, simple, leave the fluff out. It's still like has your personality through it. And then they answer and you're like, yeah. Okay. So then I say, awesome. Okay. Tell me, like, is there a specific health goal that you're working on right now? Then let them answer. Then you continue the conversation. And ultimately, you really want to give people options. You don't want to give people too many options. But based off some of the questions that you ask, so usually things that I ask is, what their health goal is. I like to ask if they're moving waste daily, aka are you pooping? Because a lot of people, weight loss is their goal, or gut health, which affects so many parts of our body. If it's not coming out, and you ain't coming off, right? The LBs are not coming off. And then sometimes, depending on where the conversation goes, I'll ask them about their budget. And I say, great. I hope you guys are listening to this, because I am like killer at scripts and stuff like
I'm
this.
like, you need to pause and go back and write this down. Like, she's giving us the gold right now, people. And this relates to any business. This also relates to in person.
Yeah.
Like, you're just having a coffee chat with someone. If you can learn this, this is how you close sales.
Yeah. So I'll share. I like to remind people. Here's part of the reason why we ask these questions is because, and you can do this in stories as well. And this is what I teach in my story cash method. That's proven to work for thousands of people that I've taught and trained and teach and have been clients of mine. Is you want to do what's called a sales ladder. You want people to subconsciously or consciously say yes 3 times. So in these conversations in the DM or in the messenger, by you asking questions, yes, they're not maybe saying the word yes, but they are responding in a positive way. So even, so say I've asked people all these questions, and to continue the conversation, and maybe I feel like I haven't gotten them to say yes just enough times yet, I'll say, hey, okay, cool, great. I'm going to put together 2 to 3 options for you so that you can take a look, you can check it out and see if it would be a good fit for you. Okay. It's not about me. Remember, it's what's in it for them. Have you heard the radio station? This is actually one of the things that I learned in Advocare that I feel like is still relevant, is with them. Like, what's in it for me? That's what people are thinking. We're selfish. We are human beings. We are not born innately good. Okay. So like, you have to tell them why they need to listen to you, because we also are very busy. We have full schedules. By the way, you're not bugging people if they like ghost you. I mean, for Black Friday alone, I got 17 text messages that morning from companies, from Macy's to Urban Outfitters to Pink Blush to all these different things. I didn't get annoyed. And there was probably things that I wanted to buy that I didn't end up buying, but because those are big box companies, they're not going to follow up with me. Fortune is really truly in the follow-up. And that's one of the reasons I think people aren't successful in network marketing, because they don't want to do that type of follow-up to really do that. But when you pair new age plus old age, so like old school things like follow-up, foundational, paired with like curiosity marketing, it's just genius. Okay. So I'll end that. I'll say, okay, I'm going to put together a couple options for you so you can check it out, see if it'd be a good fit for you. Sounds good? Question mark. I could literally have just said, I'm going to put together a couple options for you, but then it doesn't continue the conversation. I'm talking at them and not with them. Then they say, yeah, awesome. Great. I'm looking forward to checking out. Then I'll come back and I'll say, based off of what you've shared, or based off of your goal, based off the goals you've shared in your budget, here's my 2 best suggestions for you. I'll give them the links, the direct links, and I'll briefly say like, okay, this is like, say they want weight loss. This is CLA plus collagen and overall wellness. Or I'll say gut health, right? Like very simple. Do not use jargon or lingo, whatever it is. And then on the bottom of that, I'll say, I'll say, which option looks like the best fit for you? Question mark. Now, am I batting 1,000 every time? No. So then I put them on my list. So they don't answer. I follow up. Here's as easy as follow-up needs to be. Hey, Susie, happy Friday. Did you have a chance to check out that video I sent you? Any questions I can clear up? People don't want you to beat around the bush. There's not that was not a salesy message. That was not a spammy message. That was not a unkind or not heartwarming. You don't have to be like, hey girl, how are you? Happy weekend. How was it? Oh, just keep it simple, sister.
So good. And this works. It works. I've done it. Here's the thing. I want to honor and recognize that it works and it is work. So when I do it, it works. When I don't do it, it doesn't work. And what I'm talking about personally for don't doing it is like when I'm not authentic, how I show up, when my content isn't engaging, when I don't have a ask, a way for them to engage with me, when I don't get into conversation with them, and when I don't ask good questions, and then when I don't ask for the sale, and when I don't follow up, it doesn't work. But if you do all those things, it 100% works. And it's so fun. It's fun. I think it's fun. Am I weird? I think sales is really fun.
I love it. It's like a game. It's like figuring out how someone works so that you can ultimately, again, solve their problem. Yes. Do you benefit? Absolutely. This is a mutually beneficial. Remember, you have a product or service someone needs in their life or a business opportunity. You are allowed, let me give you permission right now in case you need it. You are allowed to help people and make money at the same time. Okay. There was an and in there, which means you can have both. There's nothing sleazy about that. Like nothing at all. And so, absolutely have fun. Do all of my sales conversations look like that? No. I mean, I had one that I love that I use all the time now. A gal that I was one of my first bosses as an espresso. I worked at an espresso stand in high school and eventually actually worked with her when I worked at the Y I was a director of group exercise and she was a membership coordinator. It was so cool. It was like 16 years later. It was fun to work with her as an adult. But I made a post, and this is how this can work too from social media to real life. I made a post on Facebook. The only thing I can think of is she saw it, but she texted me. Like weird, people still actually text phone numbers, right? Like it doesn't always have to happen on social media platform. But at some level, she didn't want to engage in that. She wanted to go straight to the source, which I love that about her. And she goes, all right, give me your best sales pitch. I think I'm finally ready for this fat blast, this pudding. I said, this is me using my personality. I love good gift. I was actually just having a great gift conversation with my friend Sam early this morning. She's like, man, your gifts are on point. I go, it's a resume builder, I love a good gift. It can communicate everything you need if you find the perfect one. So I sent this gift because chocolate is the most popular flavor of this CLA and collagen fat blasting pudding. And I sent her a picture of a guy bathing in a chocolate fountain. And I said, it's so good you could bathe in it. I go, there's my pitch. And she just started like I disarmed her, right? And so now can you do that with everyone or no, if that's not your personality, don't do that. And can you do that with everyone? No. If you have a referral from a referral or from a referral, which is so great about this affiliate marketing type of structure that I'm partnered with, you're probably not going to do that. But then once I said, then I got back into kind of the groove and I said, okay, no, really though, like what is your health goal that you're working on right now? But like, just have fun. Like, that's not your personality. That's okay. But like, be whatever your personality is, insert that into the conversation.
Yes. Yes. Okay. We're closing up here. I want to say one more thing along this line of permission for you to make money. Also, women need to make money. It has been way too long that we have been oppressed. Do you know that our grandmothers couldn't even have credit? So it is time for us to make money because money, that was a cream. Cash rules everything around me. Thank you, Wu-Tang Clan. We need it. We need to have a little more influence, a lot more influence. Yeah, Emmy's got the cash out. So learn how to make that money. And if you're making it with network marketing, if you're making it in real estate, if you have a job at Target, but you also have an Etsy side hustle, Like, I don't care what you're doing to make money. Sales is everywhere, and you can have multiple streams of income. And so find products and services to sell in addition to all of this. Learn social media. And if you need to learn how to make cash on the gram, you need to talk to Emmy. So tell us about your free offer. What's your gift for everybody?
Yes, I love that. That is one of the things that I am very passionate about. I do speak a lot about money in my messaging and my content, and I speak about cash. And that's not because it's coming from a place of look at me or, from a place of ego. It's because I do believe something happens in two areas of our life. And this is one of the things I do miss about health coaching. I believe that women, when they get their health right, so who I used to help women lose 10 to 25 or 10 to 20 pounds without losing their curves. There is something magical that happens, something fire that ignites within a woman when she loses fat, gets healthy, whatever that looks like. Every body is different, right? I mean, we can all eat the same thing and do the same workout, and our bodies are still going to be different. But there's something that ignites in regards to self-confidence where you just walk through life differently. Now, I do believe confidence is linked to knowing who you are, which is what we've talked about today. I pair that with whose you are, and money. You need money to be able to serve. Okay, my podcast is called the Hey Hey Emmy Show, all things Proverbs 31 to Tupac. Proverbs 31 in the Bible is a book that talks about a woman who is a business woman. This is, for me, very biblical to be able to have what I like to call marketplace ministry. Because ultimately, that's my true mission, is to help unlock women's true identity, which is what we talked about today, through a healthy lifestyle. Now, that's physical health, spiritual, mental, emotional, and financial health. That's the second area. When you get your finances right, there is like literally, just like fat loss, there's literally a weight lifted off your shoulder. You don't have to think about, do I buy organic or do I buy to the Dollar Tree, which by the way is not even $1 anymore. False advertising. They need to change their name. Like, do I purchase this for Christmas for my kids, or do I tell them that, we're going to do that again next year, right? There's so many different options that get removed from the table when finances are a barrier. Now, I do believe that you will afford what you value. So even when I was on food stamps, I absolutely made it a priority to still take supplements because I knew, one, my nutrition was not as great and I needed to fill those gaps. But two, that was a value I've had my whole life. So people, if you're getting this objection about money, people will afford what they value. If they're objecting to you, the majority of the time, it's probably because you haven't provided them the resources or tools or education for them to see that they do actually value that and they need that. It's not a want, it's a need. And money just can just do so many beautiful things in regards to serving. I mean, I'm getting ready to do, I haven't done it like I want to, but Shalene Johnson gives 10 envelopes every holiday of $1,000 each. Last year I did 3 envelopes of $100. Okay. I'm not a billionaire. And I'm getting ready to do that again. Like, that was not always possible for me. And so I celebrate where I'm at now on the way to where I'm going. And Instagram, honestly, is just the platform for which I get to do marketplace ministry, for which I get to help you step into who you are truly created to be so that you can live an abundant life, because that's what I believe that we are all called to have here. We are not called to just wake up, go to work, pay bills, and do it all over again in the morning. And so if you have enjoyed this conversation with Arin, I know I have. Arin and I met through connection, through a referral, through a friend. But then you know what we did? We met on a Zoom coffee. I said, hey, you want to get together and just like have coffee chat? That's how you do business. Now, has Arin purchased anything from me? Have I No, not maybe in the future. But there's other ways that you can collaborate and you can help each other as women in business increase each other's bottom line. And we've done that. I've so enjoyed that. But if you have enjoyed this conversation, definitely take a screenshot like Arin's told and tag both of us. But I want you to also swipe up in the show notes, I'm giving you a free resource to help grow your following, help generate more leads and cash with using Instagram. Okay, so it's a free copy, it's a free download, you get instant access. It's going to help you. It's called Cash Money in your Instagram stories. If you are leaving stories as an afterthought, if you think it's just like, I had a client yesterday who, after we worked together in a 60-minute strategy session, she goes, man, I thought stories before I met you and listen and download this guide and listen to your podcast and now working with you was just like some cutesy little thing that you'd put up every once in a while. If you're doing that, here's the good news. You can change that today, unless you don't want to make money. But if you want to actually cash in on this time that you're spending on this app, as opposed to maybe with your children or doing something else, you need this free guide. It's going to help you stand out. It's going to help you increase the visibility. And like I said, increase your cash money, honey. So it is cashinonthegram.com/download. cashinonthegram.com/download, but you'll also be able to swipe up in the show notes.
Yes. Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Emmy. You dropped so many golden nuggets, and I love being connected to you. It is my favorite thing in the world to connect with strong, powerful, influential women. So let's keep that going. Much love, everybody. Thank you for listening, and hear you next time.